name is Sam and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is Christmas and Christmas is exactly what we're going to talk about because I absolutely love it. Before we start, it would be amazing if you could like this video, subscribe to my channel, and also tell me in the comments how you feel about Christmas. And I will be very positive and cheerful and happy about Christmas, so that's a kind of spirit that I will have in this video. I also understand, however, that not everyone feels the same towards Christmas because of bad past experiences or negative new circumstances that people find themselves in. But I hope that this is the case for the least amount of people, because I really do love Christmas and it really saddens me from the bottom of my heart, genuinely, that not everyone feels that way. So yes, I will tell you my positive experiences and I hope they rub off on you. Generally, I'm not even being funny for once. So why do I love Christmas? Well, I'm very close to my family, so I love spending time with them, and I'm also very gay, so I like lights and decorations. I think that sums it all up. So Christmas is the perfect holiday for me. I live in London, but I always go home for Christmas. The only Christmas I missed was obviously the COVID one, which was a good experience for different reasons, because as someone who lives abroad, I always, when I take a little bit of time off, I tend to go back home to see my family, which I do very happily because, again, I am really, really close to them. But that means that I never really rest, because when I go back home, it's not relaxing at all, because I always have to see family members, I need to see friends, and because my time in Italy always coincides with a big event like Christmas, there are always a lot of things to do, so it's not relaxing at all. It's always exhausting for all the good reasons, but still. So the year of COVID in 2020, obviously I couldn't go back like everyone else, and I was gutted. I was devastated. It felt like my heart had been ripped out of my chest. In Italy they didn't really do much either, because although they were physically together, those who lived together, they couldn't gather. So they didn't do anything Christmassy anyway, but I just wanted to be back home. But I have to say, that year I took 2 weeks off teaching, because I was still a teacher at the time, online, and it was glorious because I had never had time off to just be with myself and do my things. And Christmas Day was gorgeous. We had beautiful weather, beautiful sun, so it was bizarrely amazing. And also I realised that Christmas is, we give and attach importance to Christmas as a day, but it's just a psychological or a mental thing. It's not like anything special happens in nature. It's not like the sky turns pink and I want to watch that with my mum. No, the sky did not turn pink that day, so I didn't miss anything specific. So we make Christmas important because we decide so. But once I accepted that no one was celebrating Christmas in any way, shape or form, it was just another day. And yes, it was a glorious holiday, but I'm glad that I can go back now and celebrate Christmas. So I have great memories of Christmas from when I was a child, and I think that contributes to my love for Christmas now. So my mum had a very unorthodox childhood, bless her. So her family, although they're very religious, they didn't really celebrate Santa. At the time, my mum is 60, so at the time, poor parents would give fruit and like little snacks to their children as a present, like mandarins and nuts. It wasn't just my family, it was what happened over Christmas. But then as Christmas became a little bit more commercial and people started receiving actual gifts, my mum and her siblings didn't. So my mum never had that, and she decided to, so when she started her own family with me and my brother, she decided to make a big deal out of Christmas because she wanted to give us the happiness and the joy of celebration that she never had as a child herself. So we decorated the house, and so I loved decorating the tree, and then you also need to do the nativity, but that's a very manual thing that obviously I am not good at or interested in. My dad tried everything to try and get me to do the manly thing, but it just never quite worked. So he used to make the nativity, and then my brother helped him because my brother is a mechanic, so he's much more manual and physical than me, so they did that together. And then me and my mum, everyone, we decorated the tree. And then when my dad left, thank God my brother took over because I was never going to make the nativity. I know that technically the nativity is the religious symbol of Christmas, but I like Christmas trees more. There's nothing to be done or said about it. However, I don't really know here in England, but in Italy, every church has its own nativity, and there are places or churches that really go all out with their nativity, and they become attractions. It's brilliant, it's incredible, even from a scientific point of view, the way they create. Well, water is actually the easiest part because, they use actual water, but the way they create thunder and snow and rain and all sorts of atmospheric elements, and the way the statues move, it's insane. It's so creative. So I do like looking at the whole experience, but I still want trees. I want trees on the streets because they are what bring more lights and colour. And so yes, and we were lucky because although we were very poor, my mum and my dad gave us a lot of presents. So we had this big, it used to be like a real Santa's bag, and then I think it broke, and then we started using a huge bin bag, and it was full with little, not always little presents, but not just one each for me and my brother, several. Whereas I think it's tradition normally for a child to receive only one present. Actually, my cousin, for example, they usually get the exact thing that he wanted, but it was one, whereas we had several presents because, again, I think my mum and obviously my dad really wanted us to experience the joy of having so many presents that we didn't really get during the year. And it was pretty, but I mean, not just for the presents, but it all added up to the atmosphere. My mum is a teacher, so in Italy the Christmas holidays end on the 6th of January because the 6th of January is a big bank holiday, which concludes the Christmas period. So the students and teachers are off from the 24th of December to the 6th, so she had 2 full weeks off. So she was obviously with us more. My dad, I don't think I could. He worked in like in a wholesale store. I don't know what kind of holidays he could get, if he could get any, but anyway, I mean, he was home when he could. Sorry, that's my stomach rumbling. And so it was always a great time of the year for us. And even after my dad left, my mum made sure that nothing changed, within the limitations of things actually having changed. And she carried on the tradition, and it's brilliant. Now, let's talk about Christmas here in London, and then we'll go back to Italy to what happens now. So in London, I've never really spent Christmas here. So yes, my exposure to the English Christmas is literally through Christmas decorations. It's now the 20th of November when I'm filming this, and although all the decorations are out already, I haven't had the time to go and see them all. So I will post pictures of some of those that I've seen this year, and I'll also show you pictures from previous years, because we really do have a lot of Christmas decorations over here, and it's my little mission. So every year for Christmas I go on Christmas lights walks. So I go to specific areas that I know because I want to see the Christmas decorations. Most of these decorations are more or less the same every year, but I just love them. In Oxford Street we have stars, a lot of these stars. It's a simple decoration, but I like it. In Regent Street, which is the perpendicular street that crosses Oxford Street, we have huge angels, and yes, they're really nice. They're huge, and then we have Christmas trees everywhere. Shops go crazy with decorations, and I love that. And a very good decoration that I never thought I would like, but I really do, is deer. So a lot of shops and also general decorations are of the animal deer, made of sort of like twigs and lights. Amazing. And I will show you this picture. I am terrible at taking pictures, and I really hate it. I hate taking pictures of anything, and I don't know how to, and I never really play with the exposure, with all those things that you can modify, so my pictures look ugly. They do not do justice to anything that I photograph, so I do apologise for the quality, but I will show you here this deer made of lights, if I remember correctly, and also they use the antlers as almost like branches of the Christmas tree, and they decorated that as well. I could not believe it. It was sensational. So yes, I do love lights, and I do love colours. So Christmas, I mean, yeah, it's my holiday. It brings all my gayness out with no unapologetically so. And so I do these walks, and the big thing about Christmas here is Winter Wonderland. So Hyde Park, which is the main park here in London, gets turned into a huge German Christmas market, and it doesn't just have stalls, it has rides as well, which I don't do because they make me sick, but they look incredible. If you're someone who likes rides, that's the place to go, because some of these rides are insane. And then they have a lot of these stalls. Now the stalls look like huts. I would never buy anything from there because it's extortionate, and it's a chain. So you see these little huts in other areas, for example Trafalgar Square as well has already put them out now. But they just add to the atmosphere. You have decorations inside. There are all sorts of foods and cuisines. You can eat anything you want. But the absolute highlight. Sorry, my stomach keeps rumbling because I'm very, very hungry. I hope it doesn't disturb the video too much. The highlight is the German village. So, as I've mentioned before, I love German as a language. I will link my first video in German here, and I love Germany. I love Germans, and because I studied German, I did 2 long exchanges with Munich, and I never went to Oktoberfest because I was in Munich in June, July, but at that time they had a smaller version of Oktoberfest, and this German village inside the Winter Wonderland has this like an Oktoberfest tent, which reminds me of my time back in Germany, and it's glorious. It's out of this world because they do food, and they have a band. Well, they have a stage, and there are bands on it constantly, non-stop. They have they have several performers, and the atmosphere is electric. Everyone is there to have a good time. They're all singing and dancing, and there is one specific band that I absolutely adore. They're there every year, and they sing pop party songs like Beyonce, Lady Gaga, Shakira, Katy Perry, which are the songs that I sing when I do my drag shows. So it almost feels like I'm watching my own drag show. You have to be there to believe it, even if you don't like the music, but the atmosphere and the togetherness, it's just, it's heartwarming and it's electrifying. It's brilliant. I'm running out of positive words because I already used them all, but it's just amazing. I could not recommend it enough. So, speaking of recommendations, now, my mum came to visit me in London in 2017 over the Christmas period, well, before the Christmas period, because my birthday is on the 17th of December, so I think she came that weekend that year because she wanted to see the Christmas lights, and she told me that in Italy, apparently London is famous for its Christmas lights. And I told her that I didn't know that we were famous for that, and also I told her that she would be disappointed because I've told you that there are a lot of Christmas lights and I absolutely love them, and I stand by that. But would I tell you to pay for a flight to come here and see the Christmas lights? No. They're nice, especially, oh gosh, there is a street that has Cartier and Dior. They do incredible things, and I have pictures of that from this year. So yes, they are nice, but would I tell you to spend money specifically for that? No. So I told her that she would be disappointed. And also I was talking to my American friend, and he said that London has this reputation for having good Christmas lights. So she came and she was disappointed. I mean, she wasn't disgusted, but she definitely expected more based on the hype that London seems to have. So I love them, but and I'm glad that we have as many as we do. But if you really want decorations, you have to go to Barcelona. I went there last year, and they know what they're doing over there. Even the magnitude and the dimension of these decorations are insane. But anyway, so yes, don't come to London for the Christmas lights, but if you are in London over the Christmas period, do go to Winter Wonderland, because it's an explosion of Christmas. It's the apotheosis of Christmas. I think it opens tomorrow for me, so on the 21st of November until the 2nd of January. So yes, do go because it's brilliant. I have to say, it used to be even better, and it used to be free as well, so you could just waltz in and out. Now you have to pay. It's only £5, I understand, but and also you have to. There is more of a system, so it's a little bit more. It's less immediate than it used to be. But hey, now going back to Christmas in Italy. Now I have to say that I love Christmas, but over the years, maybe because I'm just growing up, I've sort of lost the spirit of Christmas. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I love it. I love going back home for it. I love doing the things that I do over Christmas every year, but I've lost the excitement maybe for it. But this year I'm feeling extremely Christmassy, maybe because, as I've mentioned in my previous video last week, I've had a bit of a shitter year, so maybe I just need a little bit of respite to break away. But I'm really looking forward to it. So what we do for Christmas is this. Now I don't really know what the Italian traditions exactly are, because I'm not entirely sure we follow them as a family. But when my dad used to be here with us in the family, so he comes from the south of Italy, and there they really go all out for Christmas, especially with fish. They love eating fish over Christmas. So he used to buy all these sorts of fish and seafood, and he would cook it for us as a single individual family. So we just stayed home on Christmas Eve. Then when my dad left, we started going to my grandma's house, because my mum is the first of 5 siblings, so we have a very big family. It's like 16, 17 of us now. And yeah, so now it's become our tradition to be there with the whole family, and that's the thing that I look forward to the most. My aunt one of my aunts is a cook, and up until this year, she's always cooked hardcore stuff, fish-based, for the whole of the family. Now last year she said that she doesn't want to do that anymore because she's getting tired, so it looks like this year we might have to resort to pizza, which I love anyway. But the whole Christmas fish thing was a tradition. I'm sure she will make something fishy anyway, but maybe not the whole meal, which I understand. I don't blame her for not wanting to do that for 16 people. And then we play bingo with prizes that we buy for each other. It's a brilliant atmosphere. And now, so Christmas crackers don't exist in Italy. Well, they do now because of globalization, but they're not an English tradition, an Italian tradition. But that's my English touch that I bring. So I order. You can't bring Christmas crackers on a plane because they're considered explosives. Because they are. So yeah, they're they fall into the category of explosives, and you can't bring them with you. So I ordered them on eBay, which costs me a fortune because I don't know who produces them. I don't know where they come from, but they need to be delivered to Italy. But hey, so we do that at the beginning of the dinner, which is a little nice touch also because Christmas crackers look incredible on the table. About Christmas Day, I don't really know what the tradition in Italy is, because I do not remember what we used to do when my dad was with us. But then ever since he left, my mum has always wanted to go to a restaurant on Christmas Day, which for us is a big thing because we don't come from money. So it's always been a big deal, and we eat what is offered on the menu, obviously, but I don't really know if there is a specific food that a family at home would normally eat. I genuinely have no idea. And so my mum and I really love Christmas because just like me, she likes lights and decorations, and what we do over Christmas, we always try to find new cities and destinations that we can go and visit if we know that they do something specific for Christmas. So we only ever do like 1-day trips, and we go to places with huge and colourful decorations and Christmas events, and it's amazing. But that's why it becomes exhausting, because we're always on the go, and yeah, we just love it. And so this tradition that my mum started of going to a restaurant, it was an idea, the idea behind it was to gather all the broken families or people that found themselves on their own, in our circle of friends. So it used to be quite a big thing, but now this year it's going to be just me, my mum. I don't think my brother is coming, because he now has a girlfriend whose family has invited him to a Christmas lunch. So he will come with her on Christmas Eve, but I don't think he'll be there on Christmas Day. And then it would be so me, my mum, and one of my aunts who's now single, and possibly her son. Usually my youngest aunt was always there, because she has a boyfriend who comes from the south of Italy, and obviously he goes back home for Christmas, and they've always had separate holidays, so she stayed here and he went down south. But now, because they have a baby, they will all go together as a family, obviously. So this aunt won't be here this Christmas, which will be very weird. But usually she used to come to these Christmas lunches, but not this year. And then we'll see. Now, as I said earlier, my mum goes back to school on the 7th of January basically every year, and because I want to be with her for as long as I can, I usually spend 2 to 3 weeks in Italy. I usually always do the 2 Christmas weeks, so from the 24th to the 7th, but usually I come a week earlier because it's cheaper. Obviously, if when I was a teacher, I could work from home. As a drag queen, I'm self-employed, so I can decide not to work. It would be extortionate to go back on the 23rd. So this year I'm going back on Monday the 16th of December, and it's my birthday on the 17th, and then I'm going away for New Year's Eve this year on the 29th. I'm going to Torremolinos, which is a very gay little town next to Malaga. I'm going with my friends, and it's always bittersweet because, as I said, I do want to be with my mum for as long as I can, but for me, New Year's Eve is always a bit of a trauma, and I'll talk about this next week, because my childhood friends are a bit boring. They don't really want to do anything for New Year's Eve, and I want to go out and see fireworks and make the most of the events that we have for New Year's Eve. So after spending years angry at home, with my friends, and sometimes I think I spent it with my mum because she is more lively than my friends, 3 years ago I started going away for New Year's Eve, so that means that my time with my mum is a bit reduced now, which, as I said, is a little bit bittersweet, because I still go and I still try, I'm there for Christmas and the week before, but she'll be working that week. But hey, and I know it's the right thing to do for me to live my life. I completely understand, but I really do want to be with my mum. So it's not that she forces me or she makes me feel like I should be with her. I want to be with her. But yes, that's what will happen. And the very little time that we have to enjoy at home, we love watching Christmas films. I know it's pathetic and I know it's very gay, but we love it. We don't like the films per se, but we love the Christmas lights and decorations that they show. There are a lot of Christmas films in Italy. The only problem is that some of them are broadcast very late at night, as in like 2, I think the last Christmas film of the day is at 2 a.m, but come on now. And we just like sitting on the sofa, completely on top of each other, so we really hug. Actually, it's me mainly hugging her, like a koala. And then we try to watch those films because then we fall asleep, so we sleep a lot. And then, because we like Christmas lights, I will show you a video, if I find it, of how many Christmas lights we have in my house. It looks like a club. Like, it's never dark in the house over Christmas. We love it. My brother, bless him, the psychological torture that we must have put him through over the years, because he has a more sane approach to Christmas, so he's not that big on it. And yes, bless him, he doesn't live with my mum anymore, so he's not subjected to all these lights anymore. And that's what we love doing. And it's also, I mean, sometimes I'm a bit gutted because it feels like a waste of time. I'm there with my mum, which I can't do very often, and I'm just sleeping. But that alone is nice. And my mum, after my dad left, my mum never looked for another boyfriend. I've never had a boyfriend, not for lack of trying. So we are often, I mean, at home we are alone, because now my brother has moved out. So it's nice to just know that we have someone next to us, just there. And the good thing about that is that we know that we don't always have to talk, we don't always have to be engaging or entertaining. We just know that we're there for each other. And it's really, really nice, because we don't get that, the rest of the year. And talking about Christmas films, my 2 absolute favourite ones are Surviving Christmas with Ben Affleck. Basically, he's a very rich man who has no one to spend Christmas with, and he hires a family to be his Christmas family. And it's stupid, obviously it's a Christmas film, but it's hilarious. And the other one, if you like Christmas lights just as much as I do, you must watch Deck the Halls. It's with Danny DeVito, and the idea is that he wants his house to be covered in so many Christmas lights that it can be seen from outer space. And you must watch it. Again, it's stupid, it's silly, but it's perfect. And the reason why I like these 2 specifically is that they are just as silly as every Christmas film, but they are a little bit different. It's not the usual story of this career woman who has no one, she has no partner, and then she gets sent to an area where they celebrate Christmas. She's sent there to get rid of all of that and build a new block of flats. That's usually the theme behind these Christmas films. This and these 2 are completely different, so they do bring something different to the table. Okay, I think I've got you drunk on Christmas enough, I hope. I haven't been too cheesy, but I probably have been, because I love it. I don't actually, as you can see, I have this Christmas tree here all year round. Funnily enough, I don't decorate my room much because I share with other people. We're not really close, and it doesn't really feel, there isn't much of a Christmas spirit here. I do have a small tree that I will bring out soon, but yeah, I'm gutted about this, but yes, I don't really feel Christmas in this house, and I really wish I did. Maybe if I lived, well, of course, if I lived on my own, I would have more freedom to put lights everywhere, but also because I'm so busy and I'm always either out or working, now coding and all that, I don't even have time to enjoy these lights. But hey. Okay, so yes, now I will let you go after all this Christmas rush. Not sugar rush, but Christmas rush. And let me know how you spend your Christmas, if you like it, if you don't like it, and why. And I will see you next week with a video related to New Year's Eve. Bye bye.